Jnana-kosha, Vedas.
ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रमस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पदानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः
Shukla Yajurvedam Upanishads, Satyayaniya Upanishad. Satyayaniya Upanishad, the mind alone is the cause of bondage and liberation of the people. The mind attached to the objects of the senses leads them to bondage. Freed from the object, it leads them to liberation. Thus it has been declared, if that attachment of the mind of a person to the objects of the senses is directed towards Brahman, who shall not be liberated from bondage? The mind chitta alone is worldly life, hence it should be purified with effort. As the mind is, so he becomes. This is the eternal secret. Then indeed, O Brahman, there are 4 kinds of ascetics, namely Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Hamsa and Paramahamsa. All these bear the signs of Vishnu. They strive for liberation. Wear tuft and sacred thread, are pure in mind, consider their own self as Brahman, are intent on worship. In the form of pure consciousness, practice muttering of prayers and the principal and secondary disciplines, Yama and Niyama, are of good conduct and thus become exalted. The practice of yoga consists of the constant, single-minded, devoted service of Vishnu. The Guru, non-injuring by word, thought and deed, is the devotional act of penance. Om, that Brahman is infinite and this universe is infinite. The infinite proceeds from the infinite. Then taking the infinitude of the infinite, it remains as the infinite alone. Om, let there be peace in me, let there be peace in my environment, let there be peace in the forces that act on me. The mind alone is the cause of bondage and liberation of the people. The mind attached to the objects of the senses leads them to bondage. Freed from the objects, it leads them to liberation. Thus it has been declared, if that attachment of the mind of a person to the objects of the senses is directed towards Brahman, who shall not be liberated from bondage? The mind chitta alone is worldly life, hence it should be purified with effort. As the mind is, so he becomes. This is the eternal secret. One who knows not the Veda realizes not that omnipresent one Brahman. One who knows not Brahman reaches not that supreme abode. He who realizes that the omnipresent God, Vishnu, the omniscient one, the prop of all Vasudeva, he is himself, that sage, seer of reality, attains the state of wisdom while living. Then observing in the 4 disciplines, those Brahmanas well versed in the Veda and untouched by desire, who ponder over the eternal supreme Brahman, realize Brahman. A person desiring liberation, who is quiescent, self-subdued, has renounced all sensory pleasures, is forbearing, well versed in the scripture, is known as equanimous, has discarded the primary desires for wealth, wife and progeny, and is free from the debts to the means, coming to realize the Atman, have lived observing silence in some stage of life or other as the Kutichaka. Then entering into the final stage of life, he may possess 5 small things, mantras, as is proper. He should possess, as long as he lives, the 5 things, namely a 3-fold staff of bamboo, sacred thread, garment consisting of a lion cloth, sling and holy ring of sacred grass. These five are the things pertaining to an ascetic of the Kutichaka order. To all ascetics, the inward positions are five, namely the A-U-M, the Bindu and the Nada constituting Om. This mantra is heard in the Pranava. Till the final exit of the vital breath, the ascetic shall not abandon the twofold five mantras even at death. The five external mantras shall be buried with him. The sign of Vishnu is said to be twofold, the external and the internal. If one of them is discarded, the ascetic is without doubt fallen. The threefold staff is an emblem leading to Vishnu. It is a means of attaining liberation by learned Brahmanas as ascetics. It is the extinction of all worldly characteristics, thus runs the Vedic teaching. Then indeed, O Brahmana, there are four kinds of ascetics, namely Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Hamsa and Paramahamsa. All these bear the signs of Vishnu, where tuft and sacred thread are pure in mind, consider their own self as Brahman, are intent on worship. In the form of pure consciousness, practice muttering of prayers and the principal and secondary disciplines, Yama and Nayama, are of good conduct and thus become exalted. This is declared in a Vedic verse. The Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Hamsa and Paramhamsa ascetics are different in their way of life. All these possesses the signs of Vishnu, the external and internal, which are always visible and invisible, practicing the five devotional acts, having penetration into the Vedanta, observing the rites, resorting to the spiritual lore, abandoning the tree, having recourse to its root cause, renouncing its flowers but enjoying its essence, sporting in Vishnu, delighting in Vishnu, freed from external worship, identifying themselves with Vishnu, they realize the omnipresent Vishnu. Worshipping during the three junctures of the day, bathing according to capacity, presenting libations of water to the mains, cleansing, waiting upon the deities with prayers, these five devotional acts the Kutichaka shall perform till death. With 10 pranavas and 7 mystic words, the four-footed Gayatri along with its head is the prayer to be recited during the three sandhyas. The practice of yoga consists of the constant single-minded devoted service of Vishnu. The Guru, non-injuring by word, thought and deed, is the devotional act of penance. It is declared that the devotional act of studying the scriptures consists of reciting the various Upanishads. The attentive reciting of Om offers the concept of the individual self in the fire of the Brahman. The devotional act of possessing spiritual wisdom is to be known as the very best of all yajnas. The Paramahamsas have Jnana for the emblematic staff, Jnana for the tuft and Jnana for the sacred thread. He whose tuft consists of Jnana and the sacred thread, two of that Jnana has all the characteristics of a Brahmana. Thus is the injunction of the Veda. Then indeed, O Brahmana, these mendicant monks are as they appear. They should desire to remain as a tree, having gone beyond passion, anger, greed, delusion, false pride, envy, mindness and egotism, and having discarded honor and dishonor, blame and praise, and when cut down like a tree they shall not complain. Thus these wise men become immortal here. This has been said in the Vedic verse, having taken leave of this king's men and son with good will and not seeing them again, enduring the pairs and questioned, he shall turn eastward or northward and proceed on foot. Equipped with a water vessel and staff, seeing four cubits of ground alone before him, wearing sacred thread and tuft, or remaining shaven-headed, having a family of his body alone, and receiving from people alms unbegged or begged for bare sustenance, having a vessel made of clay, wood, god of strung leaves as originally provided, and clothed with a garment of hemp, silk, grass, a patched one, skin or a leafy one, strung or unstrung, shaving his head alone at the junction of the seasons without removing hair below and in the armpits, and never the tuft. He shall reside in a fixed place for 4 months of the rainy season, during which the inward soul, the omnipresent Purusha, Vishnu, is asleep in the milky ocean. When God Vishnu has risen from sleep, the ascetic may reside in one place to carry out his work, such as study, meditation, or samadhi. For the other 8 months, or he may go about as a mendicant monk. During the journey, he may stay for short periods in a temple, a hut where the ritual fire is kept, the shade of a tree, or a cave, without attachment and unnoticed by the people. He shall be quiescent like fire when fuel is exhausted, and he shall not give or cause trouble to anyone anywhere. On seeing one equal or inferior to him, he shall not shrink nor consider anyone existing as different from himself. If a person has realized that he is the Atman, non-different from the universal self, what can he wish for, and to fulfill which desire need he torture his body by various kinds of austerities? A wise man, knowing this truth and thus a knower of Brahma, shall have this consciousness. He shall not worry himself with many words, for it is only torturing language. Having discerned the knowledge of Brahma, he should wish to remain with dispassion. With the innocence of the child, a sage has realized the Atman when he has the lore of Brahman and in dispassion. When all desires which cling to the heart have been shed, then the man becomes immortal and he enjoys the bliss of Brahma here. Then indeed, O Brahman, he who abandons this asceticism, which is the highest spiritual life, becomes a child murderer, a murderer of a Brahmana, a killer of an embryo, a great sinner. He who abandons this study life pertaining to Vishnu becomes a thief, a seducer of his preceptor's wife, treacherous to a friend, ungrateful. He is denied all auspicious works. This has been declared in the Vedic verse. A thief, a drinker of spirituous liquor, a seducer of his preceptor's wife, and one treacherous to his friend get purified by expiation. One who abandons the sign of Vishnu, external or internal, which he was possessing, will never be purified in spite of all his self-exertions. Abandoning the sign of Vishnu worship, external or internal, he who resorts to his stage of life or no stage at all, or returns to that great fool, and to people of his kind there is no liberation seen even in tens of millions of aeons. Abandoning all the other stages of life, a wise man should live for long in the stage of life leading to liberation. There is no liberation possible to one who has fallen from the stage leading to final beatitude. Having embraced asceticism, is one does not remain observing its laws, he is to be known as fallen from grace. Such is the Vedic injunction. Then indeed, O Brahmana, when a wise man has embraced this age-old spiritual life pertaining to Vishnu and remains without transgressing it, he becomes self-controlled, worthy of being remembered as auspicious, a knower of the world, a knower of the Vedanta, a knower of Brahman, omniscient, self-luminous. He becomes the supreme God, Brahma. He redeems from the misery of worldly life his ancestors, relations by marriage, kinsmen, associates, and friends. When a wise man renounces the world, those belonging to his family become blessed in this world. 100 generations before him and 300 generations after him. The scripture says that a very pious mendicant monk redeems 30 generations of his family after him, 30 generations before him, and 30 generations after those that follow the first 30. The Vedic teaching is that the ancestors of a wise man are redeemed if he were to say that he has renounced even while his final breath remains in his throat. Hence, O Brahmana, wise men have said that this age-old lore of the self, the discipline pertaining to Vishnu, shall not be expounded till one has oneself realized the goal, and that not to one who has not studied the Veda, has not the conviction of the self, has not freed himself from attachment, has not become pure, has not approached to receive this of his own accord, and who has not made earnest efforts. This has been said in a Vedic verse. Once Brahma Vidya approached the god Brahma and said, God me, I am your treasure. Do not reveal me to one who is envious, crooked, or crafty. Thus shall I be of a potent strength. This discipline of the Atman pertaining to Vishnu shall be revealed to a person after a careful test as to whether he is of pure conduct, attentive, intelligent, observes celibacy, and has approached the Guru of his own accord for receiving instruction. With those ascetics who have been taught the scripture by a Guru and who do not honor him in word, thought, and deed, the Guru does not dine. Similarly, do not eat the food from houses where the ill-mannered receives alms. Such is the injunction of the scripture. The Guru is the supreme righteousness. The Guru alone is the sole means of liberation. He who honors not his Guru, who gives initiation into the single syllable Om, which is Brahman, has all his scriptural learning, penance, and spiritual wisdom oozed out as water from an unbaked clay vessel. He who has supreme faith in God and the same faith in his Guru is a knower of Brahman. He who reaches supreme beatitude, such is the teaching of the Veda. Thus ends the Upanishad. Om, that Brahman is infinite and this universe is infinite. The infinite proceeds from the infinite, then taking the infinitude of the infinite. It remains as the infinite Brahman alone. Om, let there be peace in me. Let there be peace in my environment. Let there be peace in the forces that act on me. Here ends the Satyayaniya Upanishad belonging to the Shukla Yajur Veda.